So we've all seen it, and today we're going to talk about it. Paternity fraud. So I wanted to talk about this because this seems to be the new buzzword that BMs are using to scream to the top of the world that women are deceiving men when it comes to the paternity of their children. So I looked into the actual data, and then of course, your girl is going to come with the receipts as well as provide context behind the stats that they regurgitate, but they never provide the context in which those stats were generated. So let's do it. So for starters, they seem to be getting that data from a 2010 research article. So the data is already coming out old. It said 30% of men are not the father. Paternity tests show a dramatic rise in the number of individuals seeking DNA and paternity testing. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to why people are getting these paternity tests and why it's coming out as 30%. So first of all, 30% is not even half. So less than half of these men, and this is old men, they didn't even break it down to black, white, Hispanic, Asian, none of that. This is 30% of all men that they're saying with this 30%, and they're acting like it's the worst thing in the world. So it says this is an often misunderstood statistic provided by some paternity test labs regarding a percentage of paternity tests with a not the father result. Most paternity test labs report that about a third of their paternity tests have a negative result. Of all possible fathers who take a paternity test, about 32% are not the biological father. Here is the context that they miss out on. It says, but remember, this is 1/3 of men who have a reason to take the paternity test. So this stat does not include a third of all men. And that is the defining factor that they insist on leaving out. So that is why anytime you see them talking about stats on here, it's important to do your own research, because that 30% comes from the amount of men who had a reason to take the paternity test, and it does not account for all men across the board. So that's an extremely small pool that are saying 30% of the test came back as them not being a father. So anytime you see a M on here, especially a BM, screaming to their top of their lungs and regurgitating statistics, make sure you look into the data yourself and find out the context behind these stats that they're quoting, because a lot of them just don't know how to read graphs and data.